What's up, traders? Today, Tom is going to go over my most recent trades. We're actually going to go over about 15 or 20 of them. We're going to break down the commonalities that we see, and I think it's going to be eye-opening for a lot of you guys. So sit back and enjoy today's video. What's up, traders? Welcome back. So today, we are here to throw me into the fire. Tom is going to walk us through this win streak that I've been on basically since the beginning of October. It's now mid-November. I've had a hot streak. We're going to talk about how that's influenced my trading. We're going to talk about the P&L. We'll talk about commonalities from my trades, things I'm looking to avoid. You're going to find a lot of value in this video. So make sure you guys are focused. Turn off TradingView. Put Facebook away right now. I know TikTok is distracting you. Put that down as well. You're going to find value, like I said today. So let's get into it. Tom, are you excited to grill me up? Throw me into the fire now.
I am. I've been wanting to do this for a while. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting stuck in and really finding out how the Bitcoin King works his magic in the markets.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate the kind words. You see, I got my trading seminar shirt on. This is from this is an old one,
Really?
2019. Yeah, you see that?
Yeah.
We're getting
You wait till
excited.
the new one.
Yeah, we're getting excited. Tom and I are going to actually get to meet in person in a couple of weeks. Less than a month, bro. It's like 3 weeks away. It's crazy. We're right there for this seminar, and it's our biggest seminar ever, like I told you today. So I'm super pumped for that. But that's a different conversation for a different day. We're looking forward to the London boys. Let's go into this, Tom. I'm going to pull up my screen here so you can see. Let's start at the TIP before we go into the markups themselves. You know what I mean? I think that makes the most
Yes.
sense. Cool. So I have it sectioned off here. So we're just looking at my last 20 trades, 19 wins, 1 loss. So there is a loss in here towards the beginning of it. And that's what's kind of led me into this 16 or 17 trade win streak that I've been on. Now, before we get into this, Tom, why don't you tell everybody about this spreadsheet? Because I'm sure there's people that are new here that have never seen this before.
Yeah, so this is the Trader Improvement Program, and this is what all Black Shirt members get when they enroll into the Black Shirt Club. And it's a spreadsheet that I built and pulled together because I really wanted to dig deep into the analysis of the trades that we take and the people that we coach trade. And I wanted just more than the P&L and all the others. I wanted to find out where I was actually able to make money, where I was losing money, so we can really get underneath the strengths and weaknesses of traders, and then we look to improve from there. So this gives us all the information that we need to do that. So I'm really interested to look in today's at whether you're better at longs, shorts, what time of day suits you best, what markets, what grades. It goes into everything. So we're going to get a real good chance to look at that today.
Absolutely. And I think one of the reasons that even like you, me, and James as the coaches in the program, why we use this is because you never really stop growing as a trader. And that's one of the big things I've learned from now coaching people with you in our Black Shirt Club. Like you said, no one ever hits this point of being like, I got it. Even me on this win streak, because there's always more money to be made. There's always missed trade entries, right? There's always little mistakes that you continue to make. And I think why we have seen 89% of the group make more money in their second month than in their first month is because we track all of the errors. Like if I just cut over to the weekly report card, I think it's huge. And I know this isn't related exactly to today's conversation, but just being able to track all of this, Tom, specifically the errors, makes such a big difference, doesn't it?
Oh, especially when you start looking at it on a monthly basis as well,
Right.
and you look at your habit log and things like that, you can really find the patterns in your mistakes. Yeah, so powerful, so
Yeah.
powerful.
Exactly. So like for what Tom is mentioning here, this is the monthly habit log that tracks how many mistakes you make each month. It's been a good month for me, as you can see. Now, one of them, Tom, we'll have to agree, the missed trade entries. There's probably a couple of days in here that I missed a trade, but I was off the desk or whatever it may be. So that one is always seems to be my biggest one. But this is a really good improvement, especially because you remember we filmed a video looking at my month on month on month. This is one of the highest months I've ever had.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of traders don't sort of is we're not looking for perfection and we're not trying
No,
to seek perfection. It's about just trying to make fewer mistakes each
correct.
month. And when you do make them, because we're always going to make mistakes, even these guys that have been in and around the markets 25, 30 years, they'll still admit they make mistakes. But over time, they make them less frequently and they're just a little bit less damaging each time. And that's all
Exactly.
we're trying to do with this trader improvement program.
That's exactly it. All right, so let's look at this. So now, like we said, it's the last 20 trades. So we do have a loss in there, but the win rate is incredible. We don't need to like harp on the win streak because one thing that I want to mention as we talk about this is like, I feel now this deep into my win streak, I'm not taking certain trades because I'm afraid to give up and ruin my win streak. But that is not how we want to trade. That's not how I got to this point. Like Bitcoin today, I had a long idea. 30, 40 minutes into that trade, I would have gotten my 1R. But because I looked at the signal, it wasn't perfect. And I said, is this what I want to put my win streak on? I ended up staying out. So what do you think about that? Like the win streak here, these good statistics actually hurting my trading in some ways, you know?
So I think it's just part of that journey. Like this is a new situation for you. You're going to come across new psychological challenges because it's something new for you. And you, like you say, this is probably your biggest win streak ever.
Yeah.
So you do come across them challenges. And now one of them is, I don't want to give that up. I'm now starting to, am I becoming a little bit more outcome focused, which obviously you're being aware of because you're journaling, etc. So it's a really powerful, again, to do all of this journaling, find that out.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think stands out to you most other than, of course, the win rate here so far? What do you see initially?
So the thing that stands out is the consistency on the A2s from this screen that I'm looking at now, like quite long and shorts, which is interesting that you've got 10 longs in like what I would class, I think, as a bit of a bearish market recently.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've had a bit of a rally recently, so it makes a little bit of sense. But yeah, definitely the A2, 16 out of 17. That's impressive. I'm looking forward to digging into it a little bit more, to be honest.
Right. So everybody, we're going to show you the markups on these trades here in a few minutes. But one other thing I think that stands out to me that's actually not that great is look at my average win and average loss. That is not that great. And what that says is that the loss that I took it at full 0.5%. I remember the trade. It was on Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure. So I took the full 0.5% loss, but because the 19 trades since then, I've been piecing myself out of them in pieces. The average win that I'm getting is smaller than that 0.5. Does this statistic mean the average win total per trade or the average percentage close that I take off? Do you know? I think it's the average
So
win.
this is the total average loss. So I'm not as concerned about this because for me, this could, if that one Bitcoin trade was an A setup and you max sized into it, which you should be looking to do if it's an A setup, you take that loss on it, then that's fine because you've got nothing to average it out. Because I know you're sizing for 0.25, your average size is 0.22 or 0.25, something small.
Yeah.
If you've got like 19 winners of that, that's fine. But because you've only got one, it's definitely being skewed by that one big loss. And if it is an A grade trade, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think.
Believe it was. We can actually look here and see that last loss. Short 0.5%. Yeah, A setup right there. So
exactly. So even the best signals lose.
Exactly. I mean, the statistics here, US 30, NASDAQ, only one trade. US oil, only one trade. The P&L is great. I mean, it's almost 1% gain between the three of them. But US 500, 100% win rate, 1.5% gain just on that one alone. That beats Bitcoin. So what does that say? Higher win rate and more percent gain. Am I the Bitcoin king or am I the US 500 king?
Well, yeah, exactly. I suppose, but like you say, if you get rid of that one, you've got that one loss on Bitcoin, which was 0.5%. That puts you back up to 1.52% as well.
Sure.
So
very even.
US 500 and Bitcoin
very
crushing
even.
it. So if you just
it aligns with the back testing. You know what I mean? We can
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit. We have a webinar coming up at the end of November. We've been doing a lot of back testing to see where does the A2 present and work the best. And on NASDAQ and US 30, it's not looking good. So it makes sense that I'm trading a lot of US 500 with it, you know?
Yeah, definitely better mornings then. Mornings you get so more trades. You're definitely taking less trades throughout the day.
Yes.
And that's then obviously equating to smaller P&L. So a lot of trading in the morning.
Yeah.
You can be done by 10 o'clock, midday.
I could, and this is the same conversation we kind of had last time. Like, should I just trade pre-market and then like some afternoons, like today, I'm not in any trades, right? I also wasn't in any trades pre-market. But like, what I think is a more important question for me first is, what do I want my lifestyle to be like? Like, do I want to trade New York session or do I want to keep waking up early and doing my thing? I could wake up early and go to the gym, like I told you, which I might do in January for a month or two, because I'm going to finish this funded account. I'm going to have the 300K with my Forex funds. Why not in January just rock New York session and not trade pre-market? I will leave money out there, but look at the win rate. I think the issue here is if I would have traded these afternoon trades with more size, because remember, we looked at my stats and my afternoon trades, I'm trading them smaller, but I'm winning them at a higher percentage, which makes no sense. So if I would have traded these at regular size, we would sit here maybe and see more percent gain in the afternoon with less work. And we would say, why not do that? What do you think about that?
Yeah, and I think this is again why this tool is so valuable, is because you have the ability to adapt that and change to different months, and you can see where your stats are in whatever sort of time frame that you want it to be. And like you say, you are adapting to where your best trades are and where your strengths lie. And I think, like you say, that can continue.
Yeah.
Because I remember once before, or when we sat down and did something similar previously, like market was always a little bit of a struggle. You got it back in, you recovered it at phase one. I'm sure it was during phase one.
Yeah, I remember. Yep.
And now crushing it. So because you've made that change and you looked at it previously, right? I was struggling pre-market. What do I need to change? Why am I doing that? You've clearly adapted, and now that's your strength.
Yep. What do you think about this? Tuesday and Thursday, actually my lowest percent gains those days. What do you think about that? Because normally you would think Tuesdays and Thursdays is when everybody loves trading. So that's interesting, right?
I think they're small. I think they're not. I just think it's just consistent. It's clearly very, very consistent all days. I don't think anything sort of jumps out of me there in that. I think it's just very consistent throughout the week.
Okay. I mean, and we should mention the A1, our bread and butter, still there, 3 for 3. Not a big game.
Very picky.
Very picky, but still, I'll take 7.75. When I only need to make 5%, I'll take that there. You know what I mean? Yeah. All right, so let's look at some of these trades. So we're going to go back to the most recent trade, which was a week ago today, last Tuesday. With all that Bitcoin volatility with the FTX stuff, I hopped into this trade short. So I'll kind of give you my thoughts on it, Tom, and then you give me some questions, or you kind of critique me if you can, and we'll try to find some commonalities between all of these. So this moves down through ADR. You can see the green horizontal lines. It breaks through ADR, but does not cross the 8 EMA back above the 21. The yellow never breaks above the red. Sentiment today, perfect L50. So keep an eye on that, everybody, because that's something you're going to see a lot in my trades. Perfect L50, which says shorted today. Now, I don't take the entry here off the 15-minute. I actually go to the 5-minute here. And as you can see, there's 1, 2, then the third A2 signal with a great L50. And from there, as New York opened, this is at 7:50 my time. New York opened, the candles get bigger, and it never shifts up. I get 2R out of this. I was basically full out of the trade before market open, and then I kept a little bit running that ended up getting stopped in profit. So this ended up being a really pain-free winner. As you can see, it doesn't take very much drawdown at all. Initial thoughts on that, Tom?
So you're using the 15-minute for your bias, jumping down. So the first thing I see, like I look at this and I see tight price action. Definitely in the shift. Definitely, if price is clearly moving diagonally across the screen from top left to bottom right, so we're definitely in a downtrend. But when you're taking it, I definitely feel like it's tightening up, and I'm interested to see whether that kind of plays out through the rest of these sort of markups,
where it coils up like this. Because you're saying, does the coiling scare you to make you think you don't know which way it will break? Is that what you're thinking?
100% for me? Definitely. Definitely. I look at that and I just see chop, and I'm like, this is a coin flip. But then I looked on when I saw your trade stats, then I saw your A's. You were taking a lot of A's. Very good. Perfect L50, perfect EMAs. So
that's what I'm saying.
To see if that's
is it a coin
commonality.
Flip? Is it a coin flip, or is it?
Well, it's clearly not for you.
That's what I'm getting at. Like with that perfect L50, could we say it's 60% these work? At 6 out of 10, I'm taking all of them. You know what I mean? Because that coiling is what creates the volatility. I agree with you, but I kind of like the volatility. And I mean, listen, the 2R move to the downside here is nice, but look at the move at the end of the day. It goes back into ADR, tests high of day with a pin, and then falls even more violently. So that coiling told you something was coming. Orders were building up,
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
Okay. So here's the next one. This is US 500. That was Bitcoin. US 5. These two next trades are very similar. I took them both with Rafa in the Black Shirt Club. Perfect L50 all day, as you can see along the bottom. We're in a downshift. The A2 presents here at 10:30. I did not get in. Then another one presents at 12:15. I still didn't get in. I see it test this zone set at the Asia low, the blue box that it broke through, and then come back down. As it starts to fall, I got back from my workout because normally I'm off the desk till about 1 o'clock. This is 2 o'clock. I got short there because to me, These two A2s were still in play. We had the price of entry was not very far from where I got in. And the L50, again, told me we were going lower today. So I got in there, not an A2 entry. I just got in because of the A2 price. And I put my stop at the most recent structure point, which was this lower high right here. I dealt with the chop. I had a small piece on, like I told you in the afternoons, I trade smaller. And then I ended up getting most of this trade off near 1R. It goes 1.77, and then that was it. So not even 2R. So the management there was really good. This was a 15-minute trade, no 5-minute.
Yeah, so again, for me, looking at the commonalities, L50 is in the sell zone. Price is clearly moving left from top left to bottom right.
What's the knock? What do you not like about it?
Don't like the 8 and 21 shift when you're getting short. I don't mind the price. For me, again, I don't mind the stop. I think I'd have probably given it a bit of a bigger stop in terms of the clear that zone that you've drawn.
You would go above the zone?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
Just in case it wanted to retest that whilst it's still in the upshift.
Sure. Fair. You would still get 1R even if you put it up there. Yeah.
But yeah, for me, again, it's L50. L50 is saying sell me.
Sell. And I'm just looking for the
pullback
price.
Is on decreasing volume. Like from the low, look at that volume. It's
dropping
all the way.
Yep.
And then when it moves lower, look what it does.
Picks back up.
So
like to me, all I'm looking for with these perfect L50s is what price is it telling me to short this at today? Look earlier in the morning. See the first A2 up here in the Asian session? See the second A2 in the London? Look at how close those two prices are. You remember
we were
this?
in the black. Were we in the black shirt club? And
you guys were talking about this.
Yeah. Taking this short, but it was in that zone. It was before, short of that zone because you came to the desk and you were like, "Why is nobody short Bitcoin?" Perfect L50 EMAs. And then obviously you managed to catch it later on in the day. Yeah, I remember.
Well, and look, if you took this first one or this second one, the stop loss is way up here with the fib. So you're safe and you're making money on that trade by the end of the day. So no matter where you got short, what I'm really looking for in examples like this is what price does the A2 say to get short at for this L50? Let me show you the next one. This was just a few days before. Not a perfect L50. And watch how choppy this one is. So swaps, L50 starts the day in the buy zone. It drops into the sell zone. Everybody look at how I always look at the L50 first. That's where I really find my best trades. So it's in the sell zone. It could be better, but it's in the sell zone. The first A2 presents at 11:15. I'm not in that trade. I was busy with whatever. I don't remember exactly, but I didn't get in. I got in similarly to that other trade right here as it started to shift back down. Same price. I didn't want it to leave the station, so I got in right there. I got in at exactly the same price. Basically, it just didn't deal with the pullback. This pullback doesn't stop you out. If you have a decent spread, Rafa was in this trade and it did not stop him out if you go with that fib stop right there. So he stayed in. He's still in the trade. We're in the Black Shirt Club. I'm looking at the trade with him. I'm like, this probably comes lower. L50's falling. I'm like, I could see it coming down. So I put the position on. It instantly comes into profit. And then within 30 minutes, it's back up at entry. I dealt with chop for about an hour and a half. And then finally we pushed really hard to about like, call it 0.5R. In that 0.5R bar, I started to say to Rafa, I was like, bro, this has been chopping all day. It's now 3:00. Like, let's just get out of this. It's a swapping L50. Let's just take the win. And we were glad we did. We both pulled the trade, little less than 1R, but pulled it for a win. And I think the lesson for me on this one is like, go with the perfect L50, because if you go back to that previous trade, even though it chops, it still gives you the 1R because it's the perfect L50 versus this one, you know?
Yeah, price definitely looks not as clean here as the last two. Certainly not as clean. Definitely, I can clearly see from an intraday perspective, though, it's lower lows, lower highs.
Yeah, look at the level.
Like, I like that A2. I like that entry. Before that, it's then the aftermath of it is choppy.
Yep. But what's the A2 win rate, Tom? 60%. So 4 out of 10 trades are going to be losers. As I'm in this trade and it's not moving, I'm thinking to myself, is this one of the losers? Possibly, more likely than other trades. So let's just take what we can get and get out of the way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go to another one. So that was the first one, not perfect L50. Here's another one. This is Bitcoin. Perfect L50. Look at all those A2s, bro. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, I like these ones.
This is the money. This is my trade. Structural level at yesterday's low, set with the pin, held in the Asian session, broken in the London session, retested, 3 A2s saying get short at this price off the zone of yesterday's low. Instantly, I get 1R. I had a take profit in at 1R on this trade because there was USD news coming. I got in the trade at 7:30 and I knew at 8:30 there was news. So if I'm that close to news, I've been using take profits to just get my nut and get out of the way because I knew it could do anything. And look, it goes lower first and then finishes higher for whatever reason, whatever news event it was. I think it was, I just wrote high impact. What do you think of this one, Tom?
Yeah, so it kind of looks very similar to like that first one where we had that big move down and then we kind
Yep.
of just moved sideways a little bit.
Yep.
And then you can clearly see that we've got that support zone at whatever that price is. It breaks out of that on the increase in volume again. You can see that. And then we pull back on that decreasing. But the 20,200 is clearly a very significant level. So when we hold underneath that and we're still in that downshift, it makes a lot of sense to be getting short. Perfect L50 again. Price is moving from top left to bottom right. Bit of a consolidation, breakout, retest.
No news. I'm ripping this all day. No
Yeah.
take profit. I'm going to take profit at 1R and 2R, but I'm ripping it all day. But because of the news, I want the nut. Give me the nut, and then I'll be out of the way of the news. I don't know where the news is going. Of course, if the news tanked, you'd want to be in it, but you don't know that. So I don't play like that, really. So yeah, perfect L50 again. That's the thing that's very clear, screaming at us. Okay, so here's another one. This is US 500 long. There's a lot going on here. L50
Yeah.
is not perfect, but it is in the buy zone twice today. It's buy zone into sell zone and then back into the buy zone. The reason why I still liked that was because I see higher lows here in the Asian session, here in the London session, and then higher highs as well. So I see the 15-minute A2. I waited, didn't get in there for whatever reason. I might have actually still been asleep because that's about 6 a.m. Might have just been meditating or getting up or whatever. I get in on the 5-minute entry here because I draw my stop loss from the high of day, which is right here, down to the A2 on the 15-minute to give me the stop. I went with the structure point here. I did not get stopped. I ended up closing some of the trade first here as it comes up to the 21 near entry. I'm like, let me just wash out now because it's in a downshift. I held the rest of it because I said, look, 50% off is the way I mitigate. Held in, and it ends up working out. I got 1R here, and then fully out at yesterday's high, 2R, covered, slightly profitable on the day. Choppy. This was the most painful trade that I've had in this sequence of trades. This was very close to stopping me out. But
Yeah. And
it's an
I
indice.
feel like there's
Sorry.
so many more signals when you look at it versus the other ones to say that this is going to be choppy. Like when you look at all of your others, this for me is swapping L50 first and foremost. Yeah, I see the higher lows. I do see them. But you could at the start of when you're in bed at the London session, clearly very horizontal price movement from 6 o'clock the previous day. I like the first A2, the first long A2 signal there. That's okay because it looks like we've got that breakout on increasing volume again, pulling back. So I think if you get the right time in, that entry's not bad. That's pretty good because you've just made the new high of day.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it definitely looks more horizontal from like across the screen. This is nowhere near as diagonal as them ones that we've seen on Bitcoin.
Good point. I think with this one too, the only reason why I stayed, like if this was Bitcoin, I would have been stopped, but it's US 500. So that spread is very tight. Like 38.18 is the stop. It comes down to 38.21. That's 3 points, but the spread that I'm getting is 0.8. It's not even one full point. So that was why I was not getting tagged on this. I think my best thing about this trade that I like that I did is I took some of the trade off. I feel like if I wouldn't have taken some of the trade off right there, it was going to punish me and come back and come lower. But it rewarded me by mitigating risk and taking some out. It came back into profit. But I agree with you. The swapping L50 is always going to be the more painful trades. And I really was just trying to ride that upshift and that rising L50, really. So definitely not as clean as it could have been. But because I got big balls, Tommy, made it work. Let's look at another one. Okay, perfect L50, Bitcoin, price is moving lower. You have an Asian range low that is broken here. We move into yesterday's low, coiling, as Tommy would say, tightening here after the breakout, and then I get my entry. So now as we do this exercise, you can see the best trades, the ones that are ripping, it's a breakout, a coil, perfect L50. We trade in that direction. I'm riding that shift. That's really where I'm making my money, you know? This is the 5-minute entry on that, I think. No. I don't have that pulled up, just this 15-minute, but I think this is off the 5-minute. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, so again, if I look at it from sort of an intraday perspective where you've got that session break, I see that you're clearly making an breaking out of the day's support zone, and then he
Yep.
flips to resistance. So yeah, I get that definitely. Quite a big zone. So how do you have the confidence then to take this into that zone? There's clearly quite a big zone that you've got marked out. I imagine this is the yearly low zone
It
that
actually
we
wasn't. It actually
oh
wasn't. This is at 18.9. That yearly low is at the June low was at 17.5. I think this was a weekly low. This is Friday, so it was the low of the week that was previously set, I believe, on Wednesday and then respected on Thursday. The reason why I took the trade is because a couple of weeks back, I missed so many trades because of a zone. Perfect L50s, volatile assets, and I'm not in it at all because of a zone. So it's like, no, you've got to be in it even if you're sizing down, especially because with this stop loss, I was able to get 2R just to the low of day. That's great for me. The fact that look, it's 8R, Tom. Like I didn't catch any of that. I had a
yeah.
very small piece in. So I didn't catch any of that big move. I'm in and out of this thing for 1R, getting my 2R, getting 90% out at 2R, and then leaving it go. This is rare. And look at how weird this is. It's down, stops, and then comes right back up. It's weird. It's very weird. So I'm not FOMO about that. I have no FOMO. I just see the consolidation. I see the downshift in the perfect L50. And what that tells me is if this breaks because of the consolidation, if it breaks with attitude, it's going to move down today. And that's why I want to be in it. Catch the roller coaster, get my nut, move on. That's
How so I like the second one that's presented as well. So how did you not take that one, or did you
See,
take
I
that
hate
one?
that. No, I don't want that at all.
Right.
Yeah, I see that's where the discretion, I guess, is killer because like to me, this pumped lower, couldn't hold lower and comes right back up. This wick here on that A2, because Tom is saying he would short it maybe here. That wick to me, I feel like that could easily be filled. That's not one of those wicks that I like to say, oh, that's a reversal wick. Even this wick to the downside. I don't normally see wicks and see resistance. I see wicks pullback as like a shotgun, and it's going to then fill the wick and keep going. You know what I mean? Really. So even like, look, this morning left the wick here and then it fills that wick. It doesn't just reverse and go away. You know what I mean? So my perspective on wicks is just different, I think. And that's why I was going to say something funny, but I'm not going to about wicks. I'll tell you later. That's funny for the people watching this far. I bet you some of them know what I was going to say. But that's really why I just wouldn't, Tom. I don't know. Something in me would just not want to short that, you know?
Yeah, so I just couldn't get my head around it. So forget the second one, even just like the first one, the 5 minute. I I would struggle to take this short. And I see the intraday level, but it's clearly a zone there. It's clearly respecting that weekly low, if that's what it is, 18,968, 19,000, whatever it may be.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd find that difficult. I would.
It is. I definitely can understand it. I just maybe trust the L50 a little bit more than you. I also maybe look at it from this perspective of like, if I'm going to short it here and I put a stop up here for the 5 minute signal, if this is where I want the stop, that risk reward is good. Like enter here off the 21, take me out if you break the 21. I'll take the loss. I wasn't deep into a win streak at this point, so I was not afraid to lose. So I'm saying, fine, take me out if you break the 21. But if you hold the 21, I'm going back to this pin. I'm going back to low a day.
And that's what it was all about, right? The A2 was off horizontal levels, which there is one intraday, taking advantage of that shift, and you've got decent risk reward to low of day, which is what we always try and get to. And let's be honest, a lot better risk reward than we see, because I'm happy if we don't have to retrace high or low of day and we get 1R,
right?
Let alone getting 2.
Right. Exactly. Let's look at another one here. So this is 15-minute on Bitcoin. Perfect L50 all day. This is one of those days that's important. I love talking about days like this because you get an A2 short here at 9:30 in the New York session. Didn't take that short. No one was in that trade. I forget why, but most of us stayed out of that trade. That trade ends up coming back basically to the previous structure point, kind of like near the Asian range consolidation, right? So we break the Asian range low here, breakout, London session, retest Asian range, new low, A2, pulls back, and it continues to chop sideways. For some reason, we were able to identify that this day was going to be choppy. And when I find chop like this, I come back at the end of the day on the perfect L50 ones. Because if it's a perfect L50 and it's chopping in the New York session, I like to come in the Asian session towards the end of the day and see if we're going to get the move then. Because I know Bitcoin will move in the Asian session for me. If it hasn't moved New York and it's got this perfect L50, why wouldn't it then hold? If it stays in the sell zone, why wouldn't it hold and move lower? So I got short on this A2. I really like the stop loss. I'm sure you do as well, Tom, up at this pin where it's clearly respected at 19,300. And I just held it, literally held it. Did not have a take profit set at 1R. I was watching this until bed, closed it full at 2R. So no take profit on this one because there's no news or no nothing coming. So I'm just watching it here while I'm doing work, full out at 2R, because then we're picking up big volume. And yeah, in hindsight, it looks like a fucking amazing exit. I probably got a little lucky that time. You know what I mean? Considering it pumped that hard. But really, I just am not greedy. So I'm like, okay, cool. 2R that fast. Go to bed. See you later. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, so again, the thing that just stands out is the L50, because I know for me, you're putting a lot of weight. Well, you're putting a lot of weight to that L50, perfect L50. Again, it is moving from slightly diagonally, but it's definitely not
choppy,
clean, I would say.
It's choppy.
So yeah, you have a lot of trust in that L50.
Yeah, and I like the stop. I think a lot of the things that we
I like the stop.
When I say like, I want a good L50, and if I find a good stop loss, okay, now my risk is defined. I'm confident in that risk. I know if it hits that level, I don't want it. Almost to the point where if it hits that level, I'll buy it and take it the other way. But I won't, because that's not a signal we trade. But that's what I'm saying. If I get that confident in the stop loss, then maybe that's a part of why I'm confident with these two. You know, the discretion might come from stop loss. Okay, a couple more here. Perfect L50 in the buy zone. Again, Bitcoin here. This was a 15-minute, and I think there's a 5-minute to go with this one. Yeah. So 5-minute throws an A2 right there, long. It kind of sits for a little bit, doesn't really move. I like that. On the 15-minute, we were still in a downshift. So I said to myself, I like the perfect L50. If I'm going to get my 1R to this zone of yesterday's high that we already rejected twice, I got to get in sooner than the upshift is my mindset. So that's why I'm watching it, looking for D1s, looking for A2s. It paints that 5-minute A2. I see that price has not left that entry price yet. I can basically get in as if I was in at the right time. And then I just put the stop as it's supposed to be here at the previous structure. And then this 5-minute ends up holding really nicely. It rips exactly to where I thought it would. So I got 75% of the trade out in the zone here, 1.6, 1.5R. Max it goes is 1.7, and then it comes right back and would stop it. So had a great trade here. And what's important about this one, this pullback, it's New York market open. I'm in at 7:15, pre-market, no 8:30 news. I'm ripping this pre-market, and then I'm out of it before New York open in case there's volatility, which there is. And why would I expect New York open to shoot this higher and go through when it's rejected it once, twice, 3 times already? What do you think about this one? You're just going to say you don't like the shift, right?
Yeah, I don't see this one.
It's tricky, but
this is tricky. This is
look at the structure. Higher highs, higher lows. So it is moving up. Perfect L50. So it's that diagonal movement. I want that low price. There's no 15-minute signal, but there's the 5-minute signal. And like, look at the 5-minute. I just see upward structure, higher lows and higher highs. You know, I
see that as being a difficult trade for me to take. And
but the 15-minute L50.
But yeah, exactly. It's there again.
Even like my gold idea today, Tom. My gold idea today. What did I tell you? Buy it because it's got a perfect L50. Stop at low of day. What is this? Buy it, perfect L50. Stop at low of day.
Yeah.
If I can get a good L50 and I can get a good stop loss, I'm in the game. That's what we're learning from my trading, you know?
Yeah.
Let me show you. These ones are important. Watch here. So just 2 more. Again, pre-market. This one catches momentum to the upside here, as you can see, after market open, on market open. And I left money on the table because I was full out before market open at 3R. It doesn't look like much, but that is 3R. This whole move is like 10R, 9.6. So here, I think this is a 5-minute. Yep. This one you're going to say you agree with more, I think, because not a perfect L50, but it's swapping to the buy zone. There's actually bullish divergence on the bottom. This is on a Monday. So Friday, there's divergence into Monday. It's making higher highs and higher lows, holds the upshift from the London session. And then on the 5-minute, it says, get long, Austin, get long, Austin, get long, Austin. And then finally, I get in here as it starts to come back up. Because now, look at how close I am to that stop loss. It's a great place. Because if it takes out that fib, I don't want it anymore. But if I can get close to that fib with the entry, I'll take that. So that's when I took the position here. I got in here on the 21 on the 15-minute. So I was like watching both of them, just trying to get an entry down in here, like an A2, because those A2s on the 5-minute are in play. That's what the idea is. Does that make sense, Tom?
Yeah, so I see this one a lot cleaner. Like on the
Yeah.
15-minute, you've clearly got the bullish divergence to support, but we're clearly just moving diagonally. Lower lows, lower highs. We break out of the London session high because at 3 a.m. you can see the London Open there with the spike in volume. We break out of that, we pull back and retest it at New York Open.
Right
I
there.
get this one. I see this a lot cleaner than that Bitcoin one.
And this was one that there's actually one more trade that I have before this trade that was another pre-market trade that it was perfect to get out before New York Open. Remember, these were like 3 trades in a row. It was like a Thursday, Friday, and a Monday. And the Thursday trade, I was maybe it was like a Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Friday trade, I was perfect to get out before market open. The previous trade I just showed you was great to get out before market open, get your 1R, 2R, get out. But this one, it ends up going. So 1 out of 3 ends up ripping for me in the open. I'm not going to know which one that is. So I'd rather just take my bags consistently before market open, and especially on a swapping L50, I'm taking that 3R. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Okay, so now biggest thoughts out of the whole thing after we've gone through those trades, Tom, to wrap up our video here. Let's turn the screen share off. Your biggest takeaways.
So L50 is the first one that stands out, I think, for me.
Yeah.
And there are definitely some in that chop that I struggle to see, but you clearly get it very, very well. The ones that have got that really nice shift, clearly moving from top left to bottom right or bottom left to top right, they're clean and they carry on being clean. They're good. They're your A grade trades. I can see why you take them. It's them ones that you find in chop that, but again, it's clearly when you look at it, you're just trusting the L50.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
It's not much more to it than that. You're saying right. And I think the other thing was you're managing risk reward pretty well. Managing risk reward. You're never putting yourself in a spot that's got bad risk reward.
No. It's always at least 1R, never less.
You're always, when you're doing that, putting your stop in a place where if it touches it, it's invalid. The idea is invalidated or you don't want it.
Exactly. Yeah. Great points.
I'm going to open it and say that some of them trades aren't going to be for everybody, though.
Yeah. No one's trades. If we looked at anyone's book, everybody would be able to look at it and be like, but I wouldn't take that trade. But I wouldn't take that trade. Everyone will find a trade that's the beautiful thing about trading is there's so many ways to make money. One way I see it is, helpful to some people, and a way you see it will be helpful. That's why you're a coach here with me. It's not just the Austin Silver show. It's the ASFX coaches,
And that's why trading's so personal, and that's why we have to find our own strengths and do what it's like you say. We all follow the same courses, but we all trade ever so slightly differently because of the different risk appetites that we've got, the way we see the charts. We all trade it ever so slightly differently. And then like being around like-minded people and people that are succeeding, it's great to be able to share best practices, go through these kind of I suppose going through your trades and exercises, and especially with other
training
people as well,
and
and all pushing each other to get better.
Right.
I think I heard a quote yesterday, and it sums the Black Shirt Club up pretty well. Was a rising tide lifts all ships. And I was like, yeah, that's so true because, like you say, everybody's trying to share their ideas, share how they see the markets, like with the D2s into A2s, and that helps lift everybody's P&L up, their habits, their accountability.
That's so well said. And how did we go this far in the video without really promoting the Black Shirt Club? So for those of you that are listening and want to work with me and Tom and James, you want the tracking, you want the accountability, you want to trade with us every day. We have openings in the Black Shirt Club. I'll put a link in the description. You can go to asfx.biz/BSC for Black Shirt Club, and you can read about what the program entails, the workload, and you can even book a free call with me. We can hop on and see if you'd be a good fit. That way we make sure it's a good decision. Because listen, there's definitely been people that have joined that they thought they could handle the workload and it's just not for them at this time. So we want to make sure you're committed, you're passionate, you've got the time. And honestly, it's very interesting. And Tom, you'll agree with me on this. I know we've attracted more consistently profitable traders than I ever thought. Like we have guys that are making money trading full time. One of the new guys from South Africa just joined, Chris, and they still want to get coached. So when you talk about a rising tide raising all ships, you got a whole tide of full-time professional traders. What do you think it's going to do to you if you're not that and you come hang out with us? Right? So
hopefully make everybody better.
that's it. So listen, Tom, I appreciate you, bro. This has been a great video, a little longer than we needed, but I think there's still value in it. I'm sure people watched all the way through. If you did, comment below. Let us know that you watched all the way through. We'll keep using that as motivation to make awesome videos for you guys. We're going to keep pushing through the end of the year to really close out the year strong. We've got a lot of streams coming for you on ASFX TV, even through the holidays. So make sure you guys tune in there. Check out the Black Shirt Club page if you're interested. Tom, I appreciate you, brother. And I appreciate all you guys watching. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you in the next video.